So let's begin once again. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. And we have discussed something very important in the previous chapters. We have already covered 11 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And today we are starting a brand new chapter, and that is chapter number 12. So it is very, very special because it is talking about bhakti, and bhakti is what we are aspiring for. So this is a very important chapter for the devotees who want to become devotee of Krishna. So there are some very interesting things that I've discussed in verse number from chapter 10 and 11. We have seen that how Krishna has showed the different opulences to Arjuna, and Arjuna has not just heard but also seen them in the universal form. It was so overwhelming for Arjuna that he actually understood that Krishna is not just my friend, but he is the supreme person who actually owns everything, and I'm just an instrument in his hands. And many a times people have this understanding that Bhagavad Gita is probably not so relevant now. They want to actually say that the times have changed. It was spoken long time ago. How is it relevant today? So such things keep coming into our mind. But we should know that Bhagavad Gita is very, very important scriptures even now, after 5,000 years of its being spoken. So this Bhagavad Gita is very relevant today because the perceptions have to be changed of the people. Why? Because the physical conditions around, the environmental conditions around us must have changed in the 5,000 years. But now the state of the mind is pretty much the same. People were confused then, people are confused now. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is very relevant. Many people think that we are advanced so much in technology that we don't need such scriptures. There are many people who offend the scriptures. Now these days we talk about 5G, 5G mobiles and 5G technology. And when you look into any of these 5G manuals, they have so much of description given of the 5G technology, like what are the frequencies that it operates, what will be the signal strength and the waveforms and this and that. So 5G is the fifth generation. Telecom industry is now adapting to this 5G technology, and most of these modern devices, the upcoming devices, are all implementing and taking up this 5G. So 5G, they have their own understanding of each of these G's when it comes to the technological terms. But in our Vedic culture, there are also 5Gs. Our Vedic culture also talks about Panch Gakar. Panch Gakar means G. Gakar means G. The five Gs, which are very important. The five Gs, which are very, very important in the Vedic culture also. And these five Gs, the Panch Gakara in the Vedic culture, are actually the foundation. It's a foundation for our Vedic heritage and culture. What are those Panch Gakara? Gita, Ganga, cha Gayatriga, Gausha, Govinda, Evacha, Sanatanasya, Dharmasya, Pancha Prana, Prakartitaha. So, what are the five Gakaras? Gita, Ganga, Gayatri, Gau, and Govinda. So, these five things are Sanatanasya Dharmasya Pancha Prana Prakartitaha. These are Pancha Prana of the Vedic culture, the five life forces of the Vedic culture. Gita. Gita is number one. Why? Because it is directly spoken by the Lord, words of the Lord. So, Gita, Adhyana that we are doing, is one of the foundational pillar of our Sanatan Dharma. So, this study that we are doing is a greatest investment that we are doing in our life. Very, very special. So, Gita study that we are doing is very, very special in our life. Then Ganga. Ganga also, if you are getting a chance to, sometimes take a little association of Ganga, either in terms of sipping some water or even touching or even having darshan of Ganga river, is very, very special. So Gita, Ganga. The third guy is Gayatri. Many devotees, many people, they chant the Gayatri mantra. So Gayatri mantra is very powerful mantra. So if you can implement Gayatri Mantra in your life, amazing. Go. Go means cows. So cows are also very important aspects of our life. Go Mata. So see how important the scriptures are stating that one of the pillar of the Vedic culture, Sanatan Dharma, is Go. Gita is there, Ganga is there, but Gayatri is there. Along with that, Go is important. So protection of the cows is so important. We should stress upon this more and more. And then, of course, there is Govinda, the 5G. The fifth G is the Govinda. Govinda is the Supreme Lord Himself. If these five things are there in our life, Gita is there, Ganga is there, Gayatri Mantra is there, and Gomata is there, and Govinda is there. If these five Gs are there in our life, then our life is successful. Very, very special. So that is why we should take up the study of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita Kinchita Dhita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita Sakrdapi Ena Murari Samarcha Kriyate Tasya Yamena Na Charcha. So it is the Gita Mahatmya verse which says that Bhagavad Gita Kinchita Dhita. If you can understand the Bhagavad Gita Kinchita Dhita, even little, it's a great success. Ganga Jalalav Kanika Pita. Even few sips of water from the Ganga will purify us. And Sakradipi Yena Murari Samarcha. If you are constantly worshipping the Supreme Lord, very nice. But even if once you can, even if once, if you worship the Supreme Lord Krishna, Murari, then what happens? Kriyate tasya yamena na charcha. Yamaraja will never come close to you. So if you are studying the Bhagavad Gita, even little few sips of Ganga water, and once if you worship Govinda, Murari, then Yamaraja will not even discuss about you. We will stay away from Yamaraja. So this is how it is so special. So Bhagavad Gita study that we are doing, it is in no way we should think, or we should not allow our mind to think that it is a waste of time. There is no question of waste of time. It is the greatest asset that we have got. Even little understanding that if you have assimilated in the past few years, understanding Bhagavad Gita, this punya has gone so much. Your punya has gone so high. So very, very special. That's why it is. So Bhagavad Gita, why it is special? Gita Sugita Kartavya Kim Anya Shastra Vistrayi Yas Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukat Padman Vinishrita. Again, Gita Mahatmya says that if this Bhagavad Gita, the song of Bhagavan, which is spoken from his lotus mouth himself directly, if you can understand and sing these glories of the Bhagavad Gita even little, then we don't need any other scripture. What are the scripture? Kim Anya Shastra Vitarsaya or Vistaraya? Why do you want to read any other scripture if you have the Bhagavad Gita? Anywhere you go, just like we carry our mobile phone, we just need to carry, we just need to take, we just need to take Bhagavad Gita along with us. That is the speciality of the Bhagavad Gita. So that is why when we constantly understand that the Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by the Lord, can be a guiding principle for all of us. And this 12th chapter is so very important, very, very important. Because even if a person while dying, if he can just listen to this Bhagavad Gita chapter, that is 12th chapter, he might get, not he might, actually he will get a lot of benefit, spiritual benefit, just by listening to the 12th chapter. There are many people who chant this 12th chapter before, when somebody is passing away, because sometimes there's time is very less. Many people ask, Prabhuji, I have no time to read Bhagavad Gita. You don't have time to read Bhagavad Gita, then just read 12th chapter, because 12th chapter is the very important chapter and has only 20 verses. It is the smallest chapter of the whole 18 chapters. Only 20 shlokas. You just read 20 shlokas. That's it. If you don't have time, 12th chapter, of course, 15th chapter is also very small. But if you can understand 12th chapter, it is so wonderful. So now, actually, this is something that I wanted to share with all of you also. Before we begin the 12th chapter, from today onwards, because we are anyway starting 12th chapter, and this is also a very good time, or it's a Navratra that is going on. You can actually start chanting this 20 verses of the Bhagavad Gita every day. Only 20 verses. It will not take more than 10 or 12 minutes. So take the Bhagavad Gita, and every day until we finish 12th chapter, until we complete 12th chapter, let us chant every day this 20 verses. Take the Bhagavad Gita, read 20 verses every single day, and you see so much you will learn in these 20 verses. There is so much to understand, and you can also slowly, just by chanting, you will also by heart them. So it is very, very important. So actually, Bhagavad Gita, uh, one is you chant and get purified, but Prabhupada goes to another level. He says that if Bhagavad Gita is there in someone's house, just having darshan of the Bhagavad Gita is purifying. And if somebody touches the Bhagavad Gita, it is so purifying. He gets purified just by touching the Bhagavad Gita, because it is non-different from Krishna. You are touching the Bhagavad Gita, they become purified. Very, very special. Anybody who takes Bhagavad Gita into their life, anybody who takes Bhagavad Gita into their life, they will get all success. And it is not our words, it is the words of the Bhagavad Gita. Sanjaya is saying that last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Pato Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So wherever there is Krishna, wherever there is Arjuna Dhanurdaraha, then Tatra Shir Vijayo Bhutir. There will be victory, and there will be lot of good fortune that will come. So there is no doubt about it. So when we are accepting this Bhagavad Gita, for sure there will be success in our life without a second thought. That is the bold statement of the Bhagavad Gita. That is why we should not think that Bhagavad Gita is so old, how it is so relevant now. No, it is relevant. Knowledge will never, never become old. Please understand. At any point of time, knowledge will never become old. We cannot say, oh, the sun is so old. How can it give light after 10 years? Do we even think like that? Sun is so old, millions and millions of years. Still it is giving light. Then it has given light now, and it will continue to give light even further. It will remove the darkness. Every single day the sun will rise and remove the darkness. So similarly, this Bhagavad Gita also, although it is old like the sun, in fact, Bhagavad Gita was spoken to the sun, it will dissipate all the darkness that is there, the confusion that is there in our life. So that is the speciality of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, if I ask you a question, if there is a car, and what are the factors which determine the speed of the car? If a car has to move fast, very speedily, then what are we supposed to do? What are the different factors if the car has to move very fast? Any uh, Hina Mataji, any Achyutanji, any suggestions, any thoughts? If the car has to move very fast, what are the different
Prabhuji, what did you
parameters?
say? Star has to move.
What is that?
Star, you said star.
Star. Yeah, one is you need to start the vehicle for sure. But then if
No, no, no.
you
Did
really,
you say star has to move? I did not hear. Star, STAR, right?
no, car, car,
Star.
vehicle. Yes, if the vehicle has to move really very fast, what are the different parameters? What are the different variables that we need to take care into? Or what are the different things which are involved if the car has to move fast?
The fuel, the engine,
So now the
the
design of the engine is very important, because there are so many
yeah.
vehicles. The design is, if you go to the, competition, racing competition, they have a different cars, you know. So they are designed, the engines are designed in a certain way. What next? What other things?
The fuel,
Yes, the fuel is very
and then the
important. You need,
the one is the design. Okay, then the driver itself, himself.
yeah, the driver himself, because how fast he is going to ride. Then there is accelerator, there is engine, there is fuel. These, we also get these days the speed fuel, right? So the
Yeah.
fuel that really helps you to speed. So fuel also matters. So these are different aspects if the car has to move very, very fast, like Achyutanji is saying there, driver, road condition of the car, and then fuel, clear destination. Yes, I was actually wanting to come to this point. Just imagine you have a car which can move very, very, very fast. It's moving really very fast. It has the capacity, the best of the engine, the best of the fuel, best of the things. But if the weather is foggy, if it is full covered with fog, do you think you can actually go fast? You cannot go fast. There are many times, when, especially during this season, November and December, if you go to Vrindavan and Delhi, there will be so much of fog. You can't see. Even planes don't land because there is so much of fog. Because the planes are moving really fast, but what actually makes them reduce the speed? Because of the fog. The fog is unclear. There is no clarity. The clarity of vision. There are many accidents that happen in the Yamuna Express Highway. So many cars, one behind the other, one behind the other, they just go and hit each other. So many cars, many accidents happen in that highways. Why? Because there is no clarity. They are going very fast, but there is no clarity, right? So this is what happens when there is a lot of fog. There is another condition also which can restrict our speed, and that is, you are moving in a car, in a vehicle, but you don't know the right direction, where to go, whether to take left or whether to take right. You don't know. Recently there was a incident which happened, that somebody was following the Google Maps, and then actually the Google Map led him to a ditch. He fell into the ditch. So when you don't know the direction, you may be having a very wonderful car which can run at a high speed, but then what happens? You have to break down. Just like Lakshmi Mataji mentioned here, brake is important. Why? Because you have no direction. If you don't have direction, and if the weather is foggy, you may have the best of the cars, but you cannot move fast. Now, this is what is happening to us. We have a lot of technology today, which in one sense has made our life very fast. There's no question of post office and all those things. Just send an email, just WhatsApp, and so many things the communication has become so fast these days, right? The file sharing, the knowledge sharing, everything has become so fast. I mean, it's gone global. Although all these things have become very fast, but then the unfortunate thing is, there is no direction. There is no clarity. People don't have clarity, and that's why people are not happy. So if at all you want to actually move fast, it is also important that you have a right direction. Though the speed also is dependent on the clarity that we have. So it is not simply important to move fast, but also it is important to move fast in the right direction, right? What is the point that, okay, I want to go to Chennai, and you get into a train which actually goes to Mumbai? Then it's a problem. You want to go somewhere, but you're reaching somewhere else because you have lost clarity and direction. So this is why in our life we need clarity, the right direction. We need to actually understand the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. The clarity will come. The clarity is already there. But we create that fog in our minds. We create that illusion within our mind. Why? Why that illusion comes? Because we become the servants of Maya. Why? Because Maya will give us a lot of temptations to satisfy our senses in different ways. We have the Panchendriyas, the Jnanendriyas, and we use these gross subtle senses, all these gross and subtle senses, to satisfy ourselves. So why this happens is because there is a powerful energy of the Lord, that is Maya, which makes us illusion, puts us into illusion, and we become unclear. So that is why, to help us to come out of this illusion about the false attachments and the compassion which creates illusion, Krishna is actually clearing of all these things so that we can see things clearly. That's what happened to Arjuna, isn't it? Arjuna was having that false compassion and all those false attachments towards his own family members and friends and all those people. and he was confused. There was no clarity. But then when he understood the Bhagavad Gita, clarity came into picture. So the very first student of the Bhagavad Gita, that is Arjuna, is a great testimony for all of us that how Bhagavad Gita can actually clear the illusion in our mind. Because Arjuna says in the future, in the next upcoming verses, is going to also say that how he says that now my illusion is gone. I can see things clearly. Now I will do whatever you say, O Krishna. So the very first student of the Bhagavad Gita is actually giving this to us that if we also understand Bhagavad Gita like he did, then automatically we will also be very clear with our goals in life. I'm talking about the spiritual goals, not the material goals. Material goals, we may be having the capacity, the intelligence to work around and get the best in the material success, to get the material success and achieve the material goals. But when it comes to the spiritual goals, we need the guidance of the Bhagavad Gita, and we should understand it as Arjuna understood. So that is why Bhagavad Gita becomes so important to all of us. It is extremely important. So why there is no need of any other scripture in our life when we have this particular one Bhagavad Gita, which can give us so much of clarity, right? So if you want to move really speed in life, achieve success truly, then you need to follow this one Dharma Shastra. This Bhagavad Gita is Dharma Shastra. Why it is called Dharma Shastra? It is because it speaks about the true Dharma. And you see, Bhagavad Gita begins how? It begins like Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. It starts with the, and then what? It ends. The Bhagavad Gita ends. The first verse begins with Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, and it ends with what? Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Mama. It ends with Ma. So starts with the, ends with Ma. It is the Dharma. It is actually a Dharma Shastra. Please understand. Very powerful. So that is why this Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Tasmat Shastram Pranamam Te Karya Karya Vyavastito Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Irhasi. You don't need any other thing when you have the Bhagavad Gita. Everything is there. This is greatest pramana. The greatest pramana for success. That is Bhagavad Gita. This is why we should implement Bhagavad Gita in our life. We should take Bhagavad Gita very seriously. You know, it has recently there was this movie, right? RRR, many people were talking about. So Bhagavad Gita also, there are 3 R's when it comes to Bhagavad Gita. What is that? First is read. You read first, understand, right? When you read the Bhagavad Gita and understand and implement that Bhagavad Gita, whatever is told by Krishna, then you will get the second R, that is realization. First you read, then you realize the Bhagavad Gita. And then the third will come. What is that? You will radiate that same light of knowledge to everyone else. So you should read, you should realize, and you should radiate that knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita to everyone. This is uh, our contribution to the society. So every day, every single day, you should read Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada also many times in the course he keeps telling, please read Bhagavad Gita. Even a few verses a day will really very help. It gives us clarity. It gives us clarity. So this is a Dharma Grantha. Let us dive into this Dharma Grantha every single day. And from today onwards, since we are starting the 12th chapter from today, which is actually the wonderful chapter and very short chapter, only 20 verses are there. So from today, you can start chanting the 20 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Just chant the shlokas, 20 shlokas every single day till we complete the 12th chapter. By then, I think you will all be able to by heart, and it will be just at the tip of your tongue. So these 20 verses will be really very helpful. Probably, if by Krishna's grace, if we can remember these 20 verses on our deathbed, oh, what an amazing thing it will be. We are on the deathbed and we are just somehow remembering these 20 verses. We are about to die and we are remembering these 20 verses. Enough. There is nothing more actually required. Nothing more is required. Krishna will bless all of us. So that is why this is a great opportunity. It's a good Navratra that is going on. We can begin this chanting of the shlokas every single day. This 20 shlokas, it will not take more than 10 to 12 minutes. So that is how. Let us now dive into the first verse of the 12th chapter. So, Hina Mataji, you can unmute yourself. Let's chant the first verse for today. Yes. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Evam Satata Yuktaye
Evam Satatayuktaye
Bhaktas Tvam Paryupasate
Bhaktastvām Paryupasate
Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam
Ye Chapaksharam Avyaktam
Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha.
Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha.
Once again, Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Evam Satata Yuktaye
Evam Satatayuktaye
Bhaktas Tvam Paryupasate
Bhaktastvām Paryupasate
Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam
Ye Chapaksharam Avyaktam
Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha.
Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, very important question Arjuna is asking here. Now, this is very important. Why? Because, see, in the previous chapter, Arjuna has seen the universal form. He has seen the Vishwarupa. And after this Vishwarupa, Darshana, now he's asking the question, now, what is more important? Now, whether worshipping this big universal form, that is important, or the impersonal thing considered to be more perfect. Which is more perfect? Those who are properly engaged in devotional service. What is devotional service? Devotional service means, like Arjuna was following everything that Krishna was speaking, and that is as per the instructions of Krishna. Arjuna was doing everything. So that means he was actually engaged in devotional service of the Lord. Or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. Now, there are two things we have to understand. So, see, this is a clear, very clear statement, a clear question asked by Arjuna. There are two things. One is there is a personal feature, there is an impersonal feature. So, there is upasana. So, now there is upasana and there is upasya. Upasana means that process which we follow, the sadhana process that we follow. Upasya means whom do we worship? Who is the worshipped? One is worship itself, upasana, and one is who is that person who is worshipped? That is upasya. So there is a personal feature, there is an impersonal feature. So there is a bhakti nishta, there is a jnana nishta. There is a bhakti marga, there is a jnana marga. So upasana can be done in two ways. One is the bhakti nishta, that is bhakti marga. One is jnana marga. So if you ask the people who follow bhakti marga, who is your upasya? They will immediately see my upasya is Krishna. But if you ask actually the people who follow Jnana Marga, who is your Upasya? They will say Brahman. Now that Brahman is an impersonal feature. Impersonal feature means there is no form. He is a Nirakara. But whereas Krishna he is not Nirakara. He is actually Sarvakara. He is not just Nirgun Nirakara. He is actually perfect in his whole vision, everything. Krishna is not an impersonal personality. He is having his personal form. So, This is a very clear question by Arjuna. What is most perfect path? Whether to worship the personal form or it is perfect to worship the impersonal form. We should follow the Jnana Marga or should we follow the Bhakti Marga? So, very specific question that he is asking. Why is he asking this question? Because Arjuna, he's a dear friend of Krishna. Krishna is his dear friend. He now got to know in the previous chapter that he is the Supreme Lord. And I am attached to you in this personal feature. I want to be connected to you in this way. When I see you as Krishna, this two-handed form, I can connect with you and I can worship you. I can render my service to you. But now I want to understand that whether that impersonal Brahman, which is also you only, Krishna, that is not different from you, but which is perfect? Should I worship you in this two-handed form, which I am so attached to, or should I worship that impersonal Brahman which you actually showed me in the universal form and you explained me about so much about the impersonal or your energies and everything? What is perfect? So this is very important question. And many people who follow this path of Vedas, most of the people who are following the Jnana Marga, they say Nirgun Nirakar, everything is one. No, that is their understanding. There is no God which has personal feature. That which is energy, that which is impersonal, assumes a form of Krishna, they say. That the Lord God is actually impersonal, but for our benefit, he assumes the form. He assumes the form of a fish. He assumes the form of a tortoise. He assumes the form of a boar. He assumes the form of Narsimha. He assumes the form of Krishna. Why? Because he wants to give knowledge to all of us. That which is impersonal, formless, it takes form. This is their way of explanation. And it is, to some people, it is very convincing also. Oh, yes, actually, everything is energy only, but the Lord, he assumes a certain form. But that is exactly opposite to what Krishna is going to state in the next verse. So that what is that? Dave, you can unmute yourself. Let's see what it is. So in the next verse, Krishna is immediately answering to that question of Arjuna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Mayaveshya Mano Ye Mam
मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां
Nitya Yukta Upasate
नित्ययुक्ता उपासते
Shraddhaya Parayopetas
श्रद्धया परयोपेता
ते मे युक्ततमा मतः.
ते मे युक्ततमा मतः
Once again, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Mayaveshya Mano Ye Mam
मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां
Nitya Yukta Upasate
नित्ययुक्ता उपासते
Shraddhaya Pariyopeta
श्रद्धया परयोपेता
Te me Yuktatama Mataha.
ते मे युक्ततमा मतः.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith and are considered by me to be most perfect.
Amazing. See, the immediate answer to Arjuna's question is Krishna is saying, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith. Now, faith can be of varieties, but Krishna is talking about transcendental faith. What is transcendental faith? A faith which is not influenced of by the three modes, sattva, rajas, and tamas. It is free of all these dualities. So that transcendental faith, when you have, then such people are considered to be or considered by me Krishna is saying such people are considered by me to be the most perfect. See, Krishna is perfect, and he is actually giving us the definition of who is a perfect worshipper. Now, what more do we want? He's very clearly stating here, without a second thought, we should just accept this as it is. Very, very clear. If at all there is anyone who is trying to debate on this particular chapter, oh, Lord is impersonal, he is not personal, he doesn't have any form, he doesn't have any. This is a direct answer from the Bhagavad Gita that you can show them. Krishna is directly speaking that those who worship my personal form are considered by me, who is so perfect, Krishna is so perfect, that such people who worship me in my personal form are the perfect people. That is very clear. So there is no doubt. So that is why Bhagavad Gita clarifies. See, there is no question of blur or foggy illusions that we can anymore have. If anybody is talking about any such questions, anything which they are confused about, refer to the Bhagavad Gita and the solution is right there. It's a very big thing actually. We may, since last few years, we are now constantly hearing about Krishna, and we were neutral. See, when people are neutral in their perceptions about spirituality, it is easy to influence them in the right direction, provided they get the right person and the right uh, some connected to the right parampara. Neutral people are easy to actually uh, convince, but people who already have some sort of garbage in their mind, previous understanding of some so-called spirituality, to make them understand and convince them about the supremacy of Krishna is most difficult. Because it's easy to write in an empty slate, but if there is already something which is written in the slate, then you have to first erase that and then write. So people who come with lot of garbage in their mind, their own understanding of spirituality, it's very difficult to make them understand about the supremacy of Krishna. And also the easy process of bhakti yoga is so difficult for them, because they are so addicted to all the complicated things of spirituality that they don't want to accept something so simple as devotional service. It somehow it repels them. The simple devotional service, coming to the temple, taking Charanamrita, chanting the holy names, reading Bhagavad Gita, you know, associating with the devotees, this kind of repels them. They want all jnana, all technical things. We'll go deep into the forest or somewhere in isolation, and then I will go into deep meditation and then do all this technical hi-fi stuff, and then still not get Krishna. Because they are not meditating on Krishna. Their objective is not Krishna. So they will get frustrated today or tomorrow. That is the situation for all of them. So that is why the Bhagavad Gita, if you see, I have explained this in the very first session also of the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, the Bhagavad Gita, which has 18 chapters, is like the sandwich. The first six chapters, they discuss about the various karmas and yoga systems. Right? The first six chapters, 1 to 6. It explains about the types of yogas and also the different types of karmas. And the last six chapters, from 13 to 18, they discuss about the different technical aspects of the Prakriti, the Kala. There are different uh, processes, the paths which are explained to attain the Supreme. That is all explained in the last. The middle six chapters, that is from chapter number 7 to 12, it explains about the Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is sandwiched between these two things. So of that middle section, we are discussing the last chapter now, that is 12th chapter. If you see the very first section of the Bhagavad Gita, that is the first six chapter, in the last words of the sixth chapter, very beautifully Krishna is saying that yoginam api sarvesham. He's saying the best of the yogi is who? Who is constantly engaged in my devotional service. So it begins like that. So Krishna ends the sixth chapter by saying who is the topmost yogi, and the very next chapter, it all begins with Bhakti Yoga. The process of Bhakti Yoga begins from 7th chapter onwards. So this chapter also of the Bhagavad Gita, that is Bhakti Yoga, Arjuna wants to prioritize Bhakti here. He wants to give the highest thing, highest rating to this Bhakti Yoga. And this 20 verses, the first 7 verses in this 20 verses, they are now going to talk about Bhakti versus all the different process. The Bhakti process, whether the compared to the impersonal process of accepting the jnana marga, Bhakti marga, jnana marga. It is the first 7 verses of this chapter. From verse number 8 to 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, these 5 verses, they are going to talk about what is the different stages, what are the different stages in Bhakti Yoga. It is called basically the yoga ladder. It is called as yoga ladder. What is yoga ladder? Krishna is saying, Arjuna, you do this. If you can do this, wonderful. If you cannot do this, then you do the next. If you can not do this, then you do the next. So there is a yoga ladder that is explained in the 5 verses. That also we will try to understand. It's very, very important and wonderful. So that is 8 to 12. Now, verse number 13 to 20, that is where Krishna is actually talking about the qualities which are supposed to be in the devotee's heart. Because Krishna is saying, if a devotee can actually have these qualities, then he is very, very dear to me. So, in this whole chapter, Krishna is also talking about the qualities of a pure devotee. See, such an important thing. What Krishna is saying? Krishna is basically saying that if you can imbibe these qualities in your life, then you will become my devotee. You will be very, very dear to me. And that's why the last 8 verses, 13 to 20, they're also called as Bhaktastakam. You know, every day in the temples, we sing different astakams, glorifying the Lord, glorifying the qualities of the Lord. You know, we talk about now this Damodar month is going to come, so we are going to sing Damodar Ashtakam, right? There is Krishnastakam. There are unlimited. Morning we also sing the glories of the spiritual master, Guru Astakam. So there are different Astakams glorifying the spiritual master and also the glorifying the Lord. Here, the Lord is actually glorifying the bhaktas by mentioning what? By mentioning the different qualities of a bhakta. And he is saying that if you can have these qualities, you will be very, very dear to me. This is the only thing that we should aim for in our life. Human life means to please Krishna. Nobody else and nothing else. The only way to become happy is to make Krishna happy. And how to make Krishna happy? By getting these qualities in our life. If we can wonderfully get these qualities within our life, then that is the jewel. That these qualities are actually the jewels that the Vaishnavas wear. It's not that they wear some gold and bangles and this and that necklace, and no, these are not the jewelry that the devotees wear. The devotees wear the garland of good qualities which are mentioned in this chapter. So when you actually wear this necklace or this jewelry, which is made up of all the wonderful qualities that Krishna has explained, Krishna is very pleased to see us. That is the asset of a devotee. A devotee should have all these qualities to please Krishna. So that is the secret that Krishna is going to explain. So from today onwards, we are going to chant these 20 verses. Right? So at home, 10 to 12 minutes you please spend and nicely chant all the 20 verses until we finish this chapter number 12, Bhakti Yoga. So Arjuna has asked a certain question that which is perfect, whether it is perfect to worship the impersonal form or the personal form, and Krishna immediately replies saying that worshipping the personal form is most important, very, very important. So Arjuna is asking all these questions because so that it is He's, he wants to know that his position is very secure. Why secure? Because he is very much interested in worshipping the two-handed form. And the best thing of Bhakti Yoga is even a child can perform. Just see so many children, they come to the temple, they sing Hare Krishna, they sometimes distribute the Charanamrita, they actually offer the flowers, they sometimes use the agarbattis, they take the arti. All these small, small little things, even a small child can do. So Bhakti Yoga is so simple actually. The process is very, very easier compared to all the other different things that we can actually think of in spiritual life. So, so the personal form is very, very important. Actually, the best way to conceive the Lord, the absolute truth, is through the personal form, through the deity form. It is so very important. And the best way also is worshipping the deities in our condition, because that is how we get connected to Krishna. And deities are non different from Krishna. Please understand. It is not simply some metal, wood, or paint. It is Krishna himself. Krishna can reciprocate to our feelings when we have deities at home. And the more you worship the deities, the more they reciprocate also. That is the power of the deity worship. There is recently one nice pastime that one of our devotee had sent. You know, she had sent a small video, and it talks about how this happened in Bengal, Kolkata. There was a family, a devotee family, and they were worshipping the deities of Radha Krishna at home. And when they were worshipping the deities of Radha Krishna at home, one day the child who used to also worship the deities, he fell sick a little bit, and not sick basically, but he started shivering out of cold. Actually, the weather was normal, but he used to shiver like anything, and so much of shivering. They were all wondering why this small child is shivering like this small boy is shivering. And they went to the doctor, took this medicine, that medicine, nothing was really working. He was shivering, it was not stopping. And then later, the deities, Lord Radha Krishna, appeared in the dream of the boy and said, "You have totally forgotten to put a shawl to me every day, which you were doing before." And next day, the boy got up and he put the shawl to the Radha Krishna deity, and that shivering stopped. His shivering stopped. Can you imagine? So when you actually start serving the Lord in a certain way, the Lord also expects that yes, this devotee is doing this service to me, and I will accept it. That is the mercy of the Lord. Do you think that the Lord cannot take the shawl and put it on himself? He can do it, but he wants a devotee to actually come and put that shawl. He is not feeling cold. He doesn't feel cold. Krishna, he never feels cold. But still, because the devotee is offering every day, he accepts. Okay, you give me, you want to put some shawl to me, you put it. But when you forget, then he also reminds us in different ways. So this is how that Radha Krishna, they reminded that devotee that you are doing this seva, but you have stopped. Now put it back. Come back. You put the shawl to me also. And when they put the shawl and the child was okay, perfectly fine, he was no more shivering. So that is why when we, why I'm saying this, because Krishna is saying here, worshipping the personal form is important and is perfect according to me. So this is how we should also worship the personal feature of the Lord. There is no question of impersonal feature. Nirgun Nirakara is not our way. Bhakti means the Lord is Saguna Sakara. He has unlimited forms and he has unlimited qualities, and I will worship that Supreme Lord who is so infinite. So this is the understanding. So there are many more things Krishna is going to explain in the upcoming verses, but that we will continue in the next session. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So very interesting chapter, verse number from 1 to 20. Every day we can chant nicely. It's a very auspicious month. Just this Navratra will get over, and the Kartik month is about to begin from 28th onwards. There are wonderful celebrations that will begin. So each one of us, we can discuss and contribute wonderful things during the Kartik month. That we will have a separate session before the Kartik Damodar begins. Within this week itself, we will try to have another session. and we will understand a little bit more about the Kartik month, the speciality of the Kartik month. Okay, the importance of the Kartik month, very, very important. So, with this, I will end the session today, and all of you, please take care. And from today onwards, you have a homework to do, and that is chanting the 20 verses of the Bhagavad Gita every single day until you finish verse number this whole chapter. Okay, so only 20 verses. Take 10-12 minutes and chant all the 20 verses every single day. Please take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.